Hello everybody and welcome back to Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Last time we started the first trial, we met Arya Steelwind. She seems to know what she's doing. She doesn't seem incompetent. She's not a Winston Kane-esque character. She is the main prosecutor for the game, I will say. But, we successfully bought time, so now we get to investigate. So, let's get on with it. The Inquisition had set up a teleportation circle at the crime scene. As the defense attorney for this case, I was permitted to use it. With it, I could instantly travel back and forth between the McCoy Tavern and the capital. It was miles better than having to travel by carriage. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Commander White stepped in my way as I approached the tavern entrance. This time I took out my attorney's runestone and presented it to him. I'm the defense attorney in this case. I have every right to look around at the crime scene. Whatever. Just remember, I've got my eye on you. You take that rock out of my face now. Sorry. Investigations. You've begun your investigation into the crime. You'll need to collect clues and evidence by moving to different locations, talking to witnesses, and examining locations of importance. I can just pull the menu here. Oh yeah. It's a portrait of someone. There's some text on it. Adam Evele, politician of the Pedantic. I've heard of this guy. He's some kind of politician from one of the nations south of here. I heard he's pretty much a shoo-in to win whatever election they have going on there. An election? Had Flintheart been studying alternate forms of government for his little revolution? It's a painting of a mage, and there's some text on it. Samala Dalian, I guess. A legendary practitioner of the arcane arts. He mysteriously disappeared one day. It's rumored that he was developing a formula for a new transmutation spell. Dagalian was reckless in casting the spell, however, and he quickly lost control of it. His body was never found. Many speculate that he didn't die during the accident, but if that were true, why did the spell take him? Sounds like a cautionary tale against using magic. That might have explained why Flintheart kept it in his tavern. I'll actually investigate later. A magical runestone allows you to take pictures of crime scenes. Oh yeah. Good, you already showed this thing to me. It's basically my attorney's badge. I gotta present it to everybody. Yeah, it's an attorney's runestone. I know. Looks like a little kid showing his mom a drawing. I cleared my throat as I stowed my runestone back in my jacket. Oh! Okay, that looks cool. Conversations. Questions. Commander White, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions. Ah, you seriously think I'm going to help you? I know who your boss is, and I know what you're up to. She probably sent you to con me. I just need information about the crime scene, as is my right. Yeah, sure you do. At first I thought that he was just another corrupt knight, but this felt oddly personal. I wondered if all this could just be a misunderstanding. I might be able to persuade him to cooperate with me. Psychological profiles. You'll occasionally need to argue against people and persuade them to cooperate with your investigation. Psychological profiles help you in those ensuing arguments. They give you information about your opponent and help you understand which options to pick. You can fill a person's psychological profile by talking to them or presenting them certain items. Help argument. So, what does the Arcane Inquisition do exactly? You trying to pick a fight with me? No, I'm genuinely curious. Well, we're called in whenever they find traces of magic at a crime scene. Do crimes like this happen often? Nah, maybe once in a blue moon. It made sense. Most mages were in the nobility, after all. The ones who made a habit of falling into scandals didn't last very long. You must have an easy job, then. You got that right. That's the only reason we exist. Clean up the nobility's messes. He didn't seem very happy about that. Does he not let me examine, actually? I do want to know. There was a chalk outline on the ground of the tavern, creating a rough silhouette of Florinhart's body. Chalk lines matched the crime scene photo in my runestone. I noticed the traces of transmutation magic on the ground in the photo. I traced my finger over the areas where they had been detected. The texture was rougher and almost sticky. Did someone transmute magic to alter the floor? Shards of a broken bottle were next to the chalk outline. This shard has a label on it. It says lotus juice. I've never heard of that brand before. Shattered bottle of lotus juice. The shattered remains of a glass bottle. You found it next to Florinhart McCoy's body. The label says the words lotus juice. Is that all? There were candles on each of the tables in the dining area, but there were also lamps mounted on the walls. On closer inspection, they appeared to be artificery, machines that could reproduce the effects of magic. Why wasn't the Inquisition using those instead? I suppose that's all. Is that gonna be the same thing? Yeah. Alright. You seem to speak negatively about magic. Do you have a personal grudge against mages? It ain't a grudge, it's just common sense. All it takes is one spell. Some rich kid just needs to wave their hands and mutter some magical nonsense. Then the next thing you know, someone's dead on the ground. Not to mention, if some bonehead really overuses their magic, they end up snapping and going on a rampage. Are you talking about mage blight? Yup. That's what happens when a mage gets too arrogant. Nobles have that in spades. I don't know if this is going too far, but why would you join the Inquisition if you hate mages so much? Considering the fact that my job is to sweep the nobility's crimes under the rug. I didn't mean to insinuate. Nope. You have the right of it. Anytime a noble screws up, I'm told to look the other way. But every once in a while, I'm allowed to put a criminal mage behind bars. You can't go after the nobles, but any other mage is fair game. Or at least, they were before your boss showed up. My boss? Did he have something against what Miss Timora was doing? I have to ask, did something happen between you and Miss Timora? Ah, Miss Timora. You really are a lackey through and through. She's my legal guardian. I owe a lot to her. Oh, that's who you were this whole time? I didn't even know she had a kid. Look, I don't know what she's told you, but she ain't the hero you think she is. This is about the rumors, isn't it? They're just lies spread by the nobility to discredit her. They ain't lies, kid. I've seen it for myself. That woman's a criminal. My hand clenched into a fist before I calmed myself down. This wasn't the time for emotion. She defends mages who don't have the protection of the nobility. She hates the aristocracy just as much as you do. Yeah, whatever. Psychological profile. Okay, I'm gonna save before I do this. Commander White was being hostile towards me. At first, I thought he was just being corrupt or apathetic. But he seemed to have a personal grudge against Miss Timora and me. If I could clear up this misunderstanding, he might help me. Argument. Do you have an issue with me, Commander White? Don't give me that crap. I've seen who you work for. Psychological profile. Commander White is stubborn and stuck in his ways. He seems to have a grudge against Ruby Tymora and will react negatively if you try to defend her. However, he will respect you if you defend yourself against personal attacks. You think I don't know what you're doing? Ruby Tymora is a crooked lawyer. I'll be dead in the ground before I help you. You have no right to fear racist accusations against Miss Tymora or me. Regardless of what Miss Tymora has done, I'm the one heading this case. My client deserves a fair trial with fair representation. All I'm trying to do is give that to her. Regardless of what Miss Tymora has done, I'm the one heading this case. You don't even know me. Whatever problem you have with her, they have nothing to do with me. I've seen how she defends her clients. Forgery, bribery, blackmail. She'll do whatever it takes to win. You're just another crook. Doesn't matter what you say. I know you're just like her. Me being her successor has nothing to do with it. You know that helping me is the right thing to do. I'm not Ruby Tymora. What you think of her isn't relevant here. Regardless of what you've seen her do, I'm trying to run an honest case. Forgery, bribery, blackmail. Have you seen me do any of those? I've only defended my first client by pointing out your mistakes. Forgery, bribery, blackmail. Have you seen me do any of those things? Because the way I see it, I've only defended my client by pointing out your mistakes. Look, kid. After what I've seen her pull in court, I'm not going to fall for it. I have no reason to trust you. No matter what, I know you're a crooked lawyer raised by the biggest crook of them all. You have no proof that she's a crook, and you certainly don't have any proof that I'm one either. I'm just a defense attorney who's asking you for information about the case. Nothing I've done has given you any reason to suspect me, but the only thing that she taught me was how to practice law. Have you seen me engage in any crooked behavior? I think it's deflect again. I'm just a defense attorney who's asking you for information about the case. Nothing I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. He spent some time searching for a rebuttal, but after a while, he just let out a resigned sigh.
You just want info on the case, right?
Yes, that's all I'm asking for.
Alright, fine. I'll answer your questions. But you better not make me regret this.
Argument 1, because I'm God. I successfully persuaded Orem White. I'm not entirely sure that the sword was the real murder weapon.
Right, I guess you want to prove that someone else stuck the... I guess you want to prove that someone else stuck the sword in the body.
Did the Inquisition find anything suspicious on the scene?
If you're asking if we found another bloody weapon lying around, we didn't.
That would have been a little too convenient, wouldn't it?
If there was another murder weapon, the killer probably walked out with it.
Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern?
Doubt it. After the trial, Steelman turned that place upside down and scanned it with her magic. If there was something hidden here, we would have found it already.
Okay, I don't like how it kicks you back to this screen. Let me stay on the talk screen. I can't believe you overlooked something so obvious.
Oh, shut it with that. I already got an earful about that mess from Steelwind. Well, you don't have to worry about me screwing things up. Steelwind's taken over the entire investigation.
Do prosecutors normally do that?
Nope, but she ain't no prosecutor. She's a Steelwind. I know better than to go against orders from her sort. I know we made a mistake, but she's taking this too far. She even had my men draft a map of the crime scene.
Really? Can I see it?
Knock yourself out. I have a bunch of copies. Don't know how much good it'll do you, though.
Crime scene map. A geometrically scaled map of the crime scene. Let me Wrong. Oh, well, there is evidence here. My god. It's a D&D map. Okay, that's funny, actually. It looks like they created this in a program, and I think I know what program it was. I could be wrong, but it just looks like that program. I forgot what it was called, though. I heard that this was Prosecutor Stillwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true.
A pain in my ass is what she is. That damn noble comes in here telling me how to do my job. Lord knows what she's even doing here.
Do you think she's here on behalf of her father?
I honestly don't know. My men are on edge because of that. You know, we were deployed to one of those regions. The ones where her old man was squashing those rebellions. They said we needed to investigate the terrorists here. But by the time we got here, they just cleaned up. They just had us clean up the bodies.
Scaled Lord.
Doesn't matter if it's women or children. Lucio Steelwind will kill them all kill them all the same. A bunch of my men quit after that. I couldn't stomach working for a monster like that.
What about you?
You all get paid somehow. Not like I can do anything. He's basically a duke.
I don't know what to present. What do you think about this? I don't know what you're expecting me to say, especially to try something else. I don't know. Can I move? I guess I move. Oh, Cuthbert. Sorry. I guess I'm just a little lost about where to go. Well, I guess I can give you some guidance. Assistance. During your investigation, you can talk to your mentor to get a clue on where to go next. Feel free to do this if you ever feel lost or stuck. In future cases, you may receive assistance from a certain mercenary. Again, spoiling shit for no reason. You should really head to the crime scene and gather as much information as possible. Right, I still have no idea what happened the night of the murder. Where should I go next, Miss Timora? You haven't really gone anywhere. You should really head to the crime scene. Right, of course. Wow, real helpful. It's a painting of a knight. There's some text under it. Sir Diago, former commander of the Arcane Inquisition, well beloved by both the people and his fellow knights. After many years of service, Commander Diago retired with honors. With this plaque, we thank and honor him for his dedication and commitment to the kingdom of Wyverngard. It's a painting of a knight. There's some text under it. General David Serrano, former chief of the King's Guard, a beloved ally of House Steelwind who served during the Great Luminite War. The annals of history have countless tales of his courage, wit, and heroism. With this plaque, we thank and honor him for coming to the defense of our kingdom during one of our greatest times of need. I can't believe it. I finally have an attorney's runestone. You worked hard for it. I never got the chance to thank you. Just focus on your current case. It has a lot of different functions. I can go over the menu with you after you quit McCoy. Alright. Wrong thing. Hit the press move. I guess I'll go here. As I made my way up the stairs, I overheard Steelwind arguing with someone. If you keep showing your face here, people will start asking questions. I have the investigation under control now. All you have to do is stay quiet until this is over. You may be a Steelwind, but this is my land. I will do as I see fit. As I turned down the hallway, I bumped into what appeared to be a nobleman. With a quick motion, he drew a handkerchief to clean the parts of his clothes that had brushed against me. His cold gaze hardened into a contemptuous glare. He gave me the same look he'd probably give a rotting pile of excrement on the Cornhaven streets. Oh, sorry. Watch where you're going, you weed. Ah, you're the defense attorney from the trial, aren't you? And you are? I'm Garrick Pierce, the ruling noble of this land. Garrick Pierce, occupation nobleman, age 38, the leader of House Pierce. He is the ruling noble of Cornhaven and the villages nearby. He appears to be involved in Prosecutor Stillman's case against Celeste. But to what extent? I suppose I should thank you for playing your role in the current trial. If only you weren't such a stubborn nuisance. I suppose that you also believe my client is guilty? I never said that. But I'm not wrong, am I? It matters not what I believe. This entire scandal has done nothing but rile up the public. Magic is a gift for the nobility, and the nobility alone. It is a symbol for our cosmic right to rule. Bastards like that girl should know their place. This is what happens when the gift of magic is used by those of impure blood. She's just an innocent woman who got wrapped up in all this. I must commend you. You almost had me fooled. Excuse me? Wait, do you actually believe her little story? What good is a defense attorney if they don't believe in their clients? Scales Lord, and here I took you for another envious corner, but you actually believe that trite? Trite? Phoenix trite?
Hey, trite. I know what you're up to.
Are you sure your time was brat? I knew I had to pick my battles, but I really weighed the legal... I knew I had to pick my battles, but I really weighed the legal consequences of punching him square in the face. Let me tell you something, boy. Even if that bastard is innocent, the charges have been laid and made public. Someone must take the fall, lest the public accuse the justice system of corruption. I mean, it seems to be plenty corrupt. If the king believes there is any unrest here, even for a moment, he will unleash Lucio Steelwind and his soldiers upon the region. I'm sure you're well aware of what tends to follow after. That doesn't mean my client should be convicted of a crime she didn't commit. What is one insignificant girl when compared to the stability and well-being of the people in this land? You're far too short-sighted. That's enough. Stop antagonizing him, Pierce. He glanced at the prosecutor for a moment and then back at me. For a moment, I caught a flicker of fear in his eyes. I suppose that even House Pierce had a reason to fear the Steelwinds. Without another word, he walked down the stairs. I don't agree with him. What? Our system should exist to deliver truth and justice, not to quell public opinion. If you really believe that, you wouldn't be working against my client. Do you honestly think she's the kind of monster who would murder her own father? I'm not so superficial that I judge someone based on their appearance. The only thing I trust is evidence, and all of it points to her as the only possible killer. Is that really what you believe? Or are you just hiding the fact that you're here on your father's behalf? I am not working with my father. I'm working against him, just as much as you are. What? She's working against her father? My apologies. I don't know what came over me. It's fine. I respect you, Mr. Cuthbert. You should fight according to your own ideals, just as I will fight for mine. I tried to think of a retort, but said nothing as she walked past me. Is there anything even to examine in here? There are some candles lighting up the hallway. It looked like they were part of the old architecture. Several doors led to the guest rooms. Aside from the rooms that Miss Timora and I used, they didn't look like they'd been open for quite some time. There was a door at the end of the hallway. I saw light from under the door. Someone was inside. I tried to open the door, but it seemed to be locked. I knocked on the door, but received no answer in return. That's... Actually... Anything else to examine in here? Nope. Okay. Something gonna be down here? Nope. Okay. I returned to the dungeons, but Celeste's cell was empty. The Inquisition must have still been questioning her. I would need to come back later. Shit. Now I really don't know what to do. There has to be something in the McCoy Tavern. I guess I have to present something to him. Man. I don't know what to do. Orem. I have to ask, did something happen between you and Miss Timora? Yeah, okay, it's just that again. Garrick? Nope. Okay, this is very confusing.
I never expected a mercenary to look like that. But after seeing how many men it took to arrest her, I can kind of see it. What the hell are they feeding that girl?
Bear meat, from what I've seen.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. You are what you eat. I wonder if we can get bear meat in the Inquisition's mess hall.
Okay, maybe I can present Arya? I heard that this was Prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true.
Pain in my ass is what she is. That damn noble comes in here telling me how to do my job. Lord knows what she's even doing here.
Do you think she's on the behalf of her father? Here on behalf of her father?
I honestly don't know. My men are on the edge because of that. You know, we were deployed to one of those regions. The ones where old man was squashing those rebellions. They said we needed to investigate the terrorists there, but...
okay, it's just that again. Same as that again. And it's traces transportation magic around the village. I genuinely don't know what to fucking do. There's like nothing to examine in here. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm not going to go over every piece of evidence with you. You'll learn nothing if you do that. Can you at least give me a hint? Now. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Hmm. Okay, this is... Hold on. I don't fucking think... I'm so fucking confused. Guess I have something to examine still. Hmm. Okay. Oh! Oh my god. There's a lamp mounted on the wall. It seemed to be built into the tavern. Is this an artificery machine? I didn't expect to find something this sophisticated in a town like this.
Artificer is just magic with another name, with a different name.
Actually, these machines draw aether from surrounding ley lines to...
I didn't ask for a science lesson. Anyways, look where Artificer got these folks. The energy's so broke, and they haven't had power for weeks. Just goes to show that nothing can beat good old oil and flame.
That's bullshit, honestly. Because The McCoy Inn is outfitted with several lamps powered by artificery. However, the arcane power cell has been broken for weeks and the lamps can't be turned on. I found everything that I could in the dining area, but what did it all mean? No other murder weapon was found, and there wasn't any evidence of another person at the scene either. I only knew about the anonymous witness who discovered the body.
Hey, you okay, kid?
Once again, I let everything else disappear from the world.
You listening?
There's no clear evidence pointing to another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to whether or not Flintheart moved when he was attacked.
What?
How did Flintheart move before he died? There's no blood trail leading to or from the body. That fact implies something about the location of Flintheart's death. How did Flintheart move before he died? Okay. During investigations, you'll sometimes go over all that you've learned to formulate deductions. Tyrion will think through the case and raise statements that must be answered. Use the arrows to construct a sentence that responds to the statement. While more than one response may be technically true, only one response will be meaningful.
What if...
Oh.
What if...
No, wait. No, Nancy, a blood trail leading from Flintheart's body. That told me something important, namely where Flintheart was throughout the murder. Flintheart died where he was attacked. He didn't move from his position at all. He must have even died instantaneously.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
There's also the autopsy report, which says that he died from a stab from behind. He must have been facing away from his attacker. He was probably caught off guard, and he would have been in shock and too incapacitated to move. It also doesn't look like his body was dragged anywhere either. He was definitely attacked right where the chalk outline is. Evidence updated. Crime scene map. Geometrically scaled map of the crime scene. Flintheart died at the location of the V marker. This was also the location of where the murder must have occurred. But there's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice. How did the bottle shatter? The fragments are right next to the body. The bottle must have only been shattered hours ago.
Maybe.
Flintheart dropped the bottle exactly when he was attacked, which implies that he was holding it when the attack occurred. Evidence updated. Shattered bottle of lotus juice. The shattered remains of a glass bottle Flintheart McCoy was holding. Flintheart McCoy was holding this bottle and dropped it during the murder. The label says the words lotus juice.
What's so strange about that?
These details may seem insignificant, but together, they'll give me a better idea of what the board looked like.
The board?
There's also the fact that that the lights were out. Were these candles here when you arrived at the crime scene, Orem?
No, we had to light them so we could see the crime scene properly.
What was the state of the crime scene?
We thought it was weird too. The girl and her father must have had their argument in the dark.
So they didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights.
Maybe.
The kitchen... No, not kitchen.
Maybe.
No, the candles were lit by the Inquisition after they came to investigate the murder. Furthermore, the dining room lights haven't been operational for the last week. Might have been a strange conclusion to draw, but this could only mean one thing about the room's lighting. Oh, lit. What? Oh, it wasn't? Oh, lamps. There. If there was any lighting during the attack, it could have been produced by the murderer. I could slowly see the position of the pieces, but there were still areas I was unsure of. Evidence obtained. Broken power cell. The McCoy Inn is outfitted with several lamps powered by artificery. However, the Arcane power cell has been broken for weeks, and the lamps can't be turned on. This means that the lights were not operational during the murder. They might have used a torch or a lantern of some kind. Additionally, the argument that Celeste had with Flintheart must have been sparked by something. Things seemed fine between them before I went to bed. It was spontaneous. They weren't planning to have a conversation in this room. In this darkness, Flintheart wouldn't have a lot of visibility. Probably never saw the attack coming. Would have been surprised and in too much shock to run away.
Kid!
The battle may seem insignificant, but he was holding it when he was attacked. Was he pouring a drink for himself or a visitor?
Kid!
I was in a frenzy. The commander snapped me back to reality.
What was that all about?
Sorry, I got lost. I just get lost in my head sometimes.
Yeah, well, cut it out. You were mumbling like a crazy person.
Right. Sorry. It felt like I'd found everything I could here. It was time to move somewhere else. Okay, I do want to see... That's not... I do want to see... Okay. I could have investigated that the whole time. Oh my god. Can I go through here now? Okay. I arrived back at the dungeons. Celeste was huddled down in the corner of her cell. She noticed me, and the weight from her shoulders seemed to lift, if only for a moment. Hi! She had avoided me before, but I doubt she had seen many friendly faces since the trial. Hi, I can't stay for long. I just need to ask you some questions about the case. Right. Oh, what's that? It's an attorney's runestone. It proves that I'm a certified attorney. It's fitted with artificery. I can use it to take pictures of evidence in crime scenes. You seem really excited about it. I've just wanted one since I was a kid. I can't believe I finally have one. Oh, that's nice. I'm happy for you. She was trying to be positive, but there are clearly more important things on her mind. I took my time and stowed the runestone back in my jacket. Sorry, I'm autistic. I don't think he's autistic. I'm really sorry for what happened today. Well, it all ended up okay in the end, right? I was unusually forgiving. If you hadn't calmed me down, the trial might have ended very differently. I still don't understand, though. Why were there so many traces of magic at the crime scene? Did you cast Mage Blade on your sword that day? I used it when I was training last week. Is that where those traces came from? No. Magical traces only last for 48 hours. After that, they disappear completely. Not to mention, that spell only leaves traces of magic on the objects that they are cast on. Even if the sword made physical contact with the body, the traces shouldn't have spread to the wound. Really? What does that mean then? I don't know. The floor next to the body had a strange texture to it too. If the killer used the transmutation spell, it may have changed your sword and the surrounding floor. That doesn't make any sense though. I know my theory sounds far-fetched, but the traces were only on parts of the sword. That must mean that the outer layer of the sword must have broken off during the murder. But my sword can't be damaged like that. Even when transmutation magic is used on it, that's the whole reason why I have it. How can you be so sure? Back when I was traveling, I'd always break my weapons by swinging them too hard. I'd end up breaking in 2 or 3 swings. Maybe 4 if it was well made. How much force was she swinging those weapons with? Okay, you don't need to... That's not how weapons work. That's not how swords work. I mean, kind of, but like... You wouldn't be swinging that hard. You wouldn't have any leverage. You wouldn't have any... You don't have a lot of power, but you'd be telegraphing everything. Yeah. That sword was a gift from one of my clients. He said it was especially carved from the bones of a purple worm. Transmutation spells can't damage them. I've had it for years, but it doesn't have a single chip in it. I don't even need to sharpen it. Where did you get this sword again? The Eastern Kingdoms? Isn't travel outside Wyvern Guard illegal? Mercenaries don't have a lot more legitimate options for working Wyvern Guard. I did what I had to. Traveling outside the country is illegal? What? I doubted I'd be able to contact the sword's maker in time. If at all. I would just have to take her word for it. But if what she was saying was true, why wasn't there the traces of transmutation magic covering the entire sword? Could you tell me more about your father? I'm sorry, I know this must be difficult for you. I remember how you two were yesterday. Is this really going to help? Knowing more about him could help me figure out who actually did this. Okay. I was adopted by the McCoys when I was a baby, but they always treated me like I was part of their family. Townsfolk would always shoo me away. They didn't want anything to do with a noble bastard. My dad got into a bunch of fights with them over that. But I had to go and ruin everything. He was a voice of dissidence, wasn't he? Did you share his views? I knew he hated the nobility, but I didn't know about his values until just recently. If I knew how much danger his life was in, I'd have never left Wyvern Guard. I think he knew that. If I'd been there that night, he'd still be... It's all my fault. It's not your fault. No one could have expected that. I felt sorry for her, but I really needed to know more. I could hear argument from my room last night. Your neighbors must have overheard it too. Did any of them come by to check up on you? They might have seen the person who did this. I doubt it. Even if they did see something, they wouldn't testify for someone like me. Why? I thought your father was a key figure among the dissidents. Yes, but all of his supporters come from the neighboring towns. Everyone inside the village hates our family. People could tell I was adopted. It's not as if I look like either of my parents. Rumors spread about how some noble lord must have had a tryst with my mom. They were wrong, obviously, but it's hard to stop a rumor like that when it spreads. That's terrible. It's fine. I stopped caring about it years ago. Things were manageable before, but things got worse when my dad started speaking out against the nobility. He wasn't just a parish a parish? What? A pariah at that point. He was drawing a lot of attention to Cornhaven. Everyone's heard the rumors about what the Grand General was doing in villages like ours. The neighbors tried to threaten my dad to stop. When that didn't work, they started vandalizing our tavern. They'd even steal my parents' supplies. I had to come back to Wyvern Guard because some of the other villagers broke into the tavern. They were cowards. They thought they could scare your dad into stopping. They were scared. My dad was painting a giant target on this region. It's not as if the kingdom would care if a village like ours were destroyed. She wasn't wrong. Stories of Lucio Steelwind were circulating in the papers for months. Even with that, he still stood at the top of the kingdom. There were no real consequences. Could you tell me why Flintheart was so angry at you? For as long as I can remember, my dad has hated magic. If you ever mentioned it around him, he'd fly into a rage about it. And you were born a mage. Ever since our tavern closed, my family's been in a lot of debt. Fighting always came naturally to me, so I became a mercenary and learned how to use magic to help me fight. Most of Wyvern Guard's mages are in the nobility. People will pay a lot for soldiers who can use arcane magic. So that's why she was a mercenary. Celeste's occupation. Evidence of it is Celeste's occupation. Celeste McCoy learned magic so she could support her family. Apparently, many people will pay extra for a mercenary that can use magic. Shit. Last night, my dad found my spell compendium. When I saw him holding it, I finally came clean to him, and that set him off. He shouted at me, told me that I'd betrayed him and everything he stood for. I can't imagine how that must have felt. I deserved it. I knew how much he hated magic. He was fighting for what he believed in, and I wasn't even there to protect him. Don't say that. You couldn't have known what would happen. I'm sure he still loved you. He just lost his temper. No, I could see it in his eyes. He hated me, and he died hating me. I felt a sharp pain in my chest as I read that, but I didn't say anything more. There's a locked room in the tavern. It's at the very end of the hallway upstairs. The Inquisition probably searched it already, but it's the only room I haven't seen yet. At the end of the hallway? That's my room. Do you know how I can get in there? I'm your lawyer. I'm not going to do anything strange. Sorry, you're right. I always keep the key on me. You can use this to get inside. They didn't take away your key? Obtained evidence. Celeste's bedroom key. The key to Celeste McCoy's bedroom in the McCoy Tavern. Okay, is that all? That's all. Okay. Bye now. Wrong fucking thing. I slid Celeste's key into the lock and turned it, allowing the door to creak open. I heard the fumbling of objects on the other side. Someone else was there. I've already told you, Knights, everything that I know. What more do you? Oh, it's you. Something about the way the woman carried herself reminded me of Celeste. I knew she was adopted. She clearly took after her mother. I like her outfit. I recognized the same bubbly warmth in the woman's posture, tempered with a subtle hint of maturity. Sorry if I'm intruding, but what are you doing in Celeste's room? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm Jolene. I'm Celeste's mother. Jolene McCoy, occupation unemployed, age 46. Celeste's mother. I can't imagine what she's going through. She not only has to grieve her husband's death, but also deal with her daughter's arrest for his murder. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for her. I really appreciate you sticking by her after she hit you like that. It's fine, really. I kind of deserved it for freezing up like that. Anyways, Jolene was Flintheart's wife. That must mean that she knew him better than anyone else, even Celeste. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? Of course. I'll do anything to help. He's helped Celeste a lot. Can I really trust him? The eye revealed a hint of fear and distrust from her. It's a painting of a woman with a strange animal. The text says Madeline Kipling. Oh, I've always loved that painting. Celeste brought it back with her from her travels. That girl runs a wildlife sanctuary for endangered species. I think that creature is called a fakehip. They live in the swamps of the Eastern Kingdoms. I never knew that creatures like this even existed. It's a fancy-looking bed. Do you like it? Celeste had it custom-made by someone in the city. Wouldn't something like this be really expensive? It was. I was really surprised when she returned from her travels. She was making a lot of gold from her job as a mercenary. I'm happy for her, but I still wish she'd do something less dangerous. It's a table with several chairs. It's probably used for entertaining guests. So why does she need that in here? Didn't look like it'd seen much use, though. It's a door leading to the upstairs hallway. Okay. That's all, I guess. Oh, what's this? It's an attorney's runestone. It identifies me as a certified attorney. Wow. You must have worked very hard to get that. Yeah. This has a magical tool that lets me take pictures of crime scenes. Wow, that's amazing. Something about her overly enthusiastic tone reminded me of my late mother. Can you tell me more about your husband? Why did he hate magic so much? I understand that magic is a symbol of the nobility, but things sounded different with him. It's as if he thought Celeste had betrayed him somehow. I wasn't there when they were arguing, but I can only imagine what he said to her. He's never had anything good to say about mages, and I can see how much his words indirectly hurt her. Did something happen? I don't really know. I don't trust him enough. I shouldn't talk about Ify. Who was Ify? Does Flintheart's resentment have something to do with Ify? How do you know about her? There shouldn't be any records of what happened. I have my ways of finding out. Of course. You work for Ruby Timora? What did she do? Did she strong-arm one of the neighbors into talking? We don't need people like her going around Cornhaven and opening up old wounds. What? Flintheart always idolized her, but I could never stand her methods. Is this about the rumors? Rumors? When my mentor started fighting against the justice system, the nobility started levying accusations of misconduct against her. They spread rumors that she engaged in bribery, forgery, and blackmail, all to discredit her. Is that really true? She personally taught me how to defend persecuted mages like your daughter. I don't think... Persecution has something to do with religion. This isn't religious. I think. Let me search up the definition of persecution. But I don't think it would be persecution, though. I think the word would be I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Oh. I guess in a world with magic, it would be, yeah, persecution. Yeah, okay. I'm dumb. You've seen how I defended Celeste. I'm doing everything honestly and legally. Miss McCoy, I know you don't know who to trust right now, but I need to know more about Flintheart. Right now, I don't have any leads as to who might have done this. Okay, but promise me that you won't mention any of this in court. I don't want Celeste dragged into another scandal. And I sure as hell don't want any more steel winds showing up in town. I can't make any promises, but my priority will always be to keep your daughter safe. I guess that's as much as I can ask for. Ify was Flintheart's younger sister. Celeste doesn't know about her. She died 20 years ago, and Flintheart never brought her up. What happened? She was friends with the son of the ruling noble back then, and he'd always sneak into town to see her. He was so different back then. Ify had always loved magic. It reminded her of the fairy tales she read growing up. He'd always show her his spells by the lake, all to make her smile. But he'd been warned not to use his spell without his instructor present. One day, he lost control of one of his spells and wounded Ify. We rushed her back into town, but it was too late. By the time we could dress her wounds, she was already gone. Stories like that were awfully common among the nobilities these days. The next day, the Arcane Inquisition came to investigate what happened. The boy's parents used their influence to cover everything up. They even threatened Flintheart's family into staying quiet. After that, they told the town that Ify had been mauled to death by a wolf. Obtained evidence. Flintheart's sister. Flintheart McCoy died during an accident involving the local lord and his magic. Ever since then, Flintheart has hated magic and the mages who wield them. You mean, it wasn't the local lord, it was the local lord's son! Flintheart all but declared a war on the nobility after that. He turned our tavern into a meeting place for commoners who shared his resentment. Word spread, and night after night, more and more revolutionaries started showing up to his rallies. It wasn't long before they started planning a revolution. They started contacting like-minded groups in the towns nearby. They were even starting to arm themselves. I could only watch as everything unfolded. I'd heard stories about what the Steelwinds were doing to people like him. I begged him to stop. So did some of the other townsfolk. We knew he was going to get all of us killed. It was shocked when the knights told me he'd been murdered, but I wasn't surprised. I really hoped he'd let go of his anger when Celeste showed up. He was really starting to change after we adopted her. Can you tell me more about Celeste? How did she become part of your family? It all happened 19 years ago, a year after Evie's death. We were closing one night when we found a baby with white hair abandoned in the dining area. We waited for weeks for her parents to come by, but no one ever came looking for her. We named her Celeste, after the full moon that was out that night. We'd always wanted a child, so I thought she must have been a gift from the Scaled Lord. But one day I spotted Celeste practicing her magic. I think that's when I realized that a noble must have abandoned her at our inn. I didn't care though. I loved her all the same. Flintheart did too. Wait, you knew that she was a mage this entire time? I did. You haven't known her very long, but she's a terrible liar. Flintheart must have noticed it too. But I think he didn't want to believe it. It's my fault. I should have forced him to see the truth. I spoke with Celeste earlier, and she believes her father died hating her. What? He loved her more than anything in the world. They must have been really close. More than anything. Do you want to hear a story? Celeste had just come from the Eastern Kingdoms. She wouldn't stop talking about this foreign drink that she loved. Flintheart did everything he could to have it shipped here. He even called in a bunch of favors to do it. In the end, he was only able to get a single bottle of it. Is it really that rare? It's a product of the Eastern Kingdoms, and it's hard to import anything from outside of Wyverngard. I wouldn't be surprised if it were the only bottle of lotus juice in this region. Wait a minute. Lotus juice? Is this the bottle that Flintheart bought? Oh no! I was going to surprise her with it. I wondered where it had disappeared to. I found it shattered on the floor in the dining area. That's strange. Celeste would always help herself to our pantry, so he was hiding it in our room. Really? When was the last time you saw it? It was right before he left the house that night. It would have been in his room before their argument. Evidence updated. Shattered bottle of lotus juice. The shattered remains of a glass bottle. He was holding this bottle and dropped it during the murder. It contained Celeste's favorite drink, lotus juice. Flintheart McCoy retrieved it from his room after his argument with Celeste. I'd investigated the tavern as much as I could, but there was still one last thing I needed to do. It was time to head back to the dungeon and talk to Celeste. Dokily dokily. Oh, you're back! Did you forget something? There was one last thing that I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to ask you about the argument you had with Flintheart. Oh! I knew what it was like to lose a parent. I'd never been able to carry that burden if I thought my mother had died hating me. I know he was angry at you, but after everything I've heard about you two, I know that he still loved you. Tyrion! Even in his final moments, I'm sure that he still cared for you. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. It looked like it wouldn't be that simple, though. I would need to persuade her if I wanted her to believe me. I guess I'll save. Flintheart's hatred. That final argument with the father would be a lasting scar on Celeste. Throughout this entire investigation, I'd learned how much they cared for each other. I couldn't leave things as they were. Argument. I love the chess pieces. I know you're just trying to make me feel better, but my dad has hated mages. I knew that better than anyone. He's always hated magic. There's no reason behind it. Really? No reason, Celeste. No reason. I don't know if it's my place to say this, but there's a reason why your father hated magic. What? Decades ago, he had a sister. She was killed by a mage in a tragic accident. That's why he resents magic so much. It ripped away someone that he had loved dearly. I never knew that. But that just proves it, doesn't it? It was selfish of me to learn magic. I knew how he felt about it, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get away from my life here. He had every right to get angry at me. I was being selfish. What do I present? Yeah, but you didn't learn magic just to benefit yourself, though. You used it to support your family. You gave them hope when the nobility shut down their tavern. That's... You didn't have a choice. You had a gift, and you used it to your advantage. That's not selfish. Shut up. What? Just shut up, Tyrion! Why won't you leave me alone? Celeste. You don't know anything. You weren't there. You didn't hear what he said to me. You didn't see the way he was looking at me. He was only thinking about how you betrayed him. I knew him. I knew him better than anyone. He loved me. He took care of me and I threw it all away. I chose to become a mage. He would never forgive me for that. Take a look at this picture, Celeste. What's this? Broken glass? Wait, that bottle? It's a bottle of lotus juice. These shards were on the floor of the crime scene. What? That can't be true. They don't even sell it in Wyvern Guard. Your father called in a bunch of favors to have it imported for you. He did? He didn't hate you, Celeste. He imported your favorite drink just to make you happy. No, that still doesn't change anything. If he did that all for me, it was before he knew the truth. That's not true. Stop acting like you know anything about us. You only met us yesterday. How could you know how he felt about me? Don't you think I want to believe you? I know the truth. He hated me. He hated me just like he hated every other mage. Celeste, your mother said the bottle was stowed away in her room, but I found it shattered in the dining area near where the murder happened. He was holding it when he died. That means he retreated after your argument. So why would he have your gift if he was still angry at you? No. Why would he have it? It's because he loved you, Celeste. He knew he'd lost his temper and hurt you. So he was going to use that gift to apologize to you. What? I still don't like this. My daughter, working as a mercenary of all things. Come on, Dad. You know I can handle myself out there. You shouldn't have to. They closed the inn. If I didn't do this, we wouldn't have made it through the last few winters. I know you're worried, but I can do this. No one could ever beat me in a fight. Just be careful. I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. Don't worry. Just let me do this for you. You and Mom both took me in. You took care of me for my entire life. I know I'm not really your daughter, but... Why would you say something like that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean... Do those idiots in the town say that? Tell me who. I'll go knock them out right now. Dad, no one said that. It's just... You're a McCoy. You've always been a McCoy. You're our daughter. I won't let anyone say otherwise. Especially you. Okay. Thanks, Dad. I love you. I love you too. How could I ever think that? She trailed off. She had barely been keeping it together throughout the whole argument. But her voice began to break, and she broke along with it. She paused for a moment, trembling. Then she slowly fell against me. She gripped me tightly, everything from the last few days finally crashing down on her. I was sure I was the last person she wanted to comfort her, but I was the only one there. She'd held back her grief for this long. She was strong, much stronger than I had been. I hesitated, unsure of how to respond. I just held her as her quiet sobs echoed softly throughout the cell. Celeste, I'm sorry, but please don't talk right now. I did as she asked. I wasn't sure if it was enough, but I held her tightly. Are you feeling better? Yeah, thanks. She wiped her eyes. They were still red. But she smiled at me, and it wasn't forced this time. Do you need water? What? I just thought, I figured you lost fluids, and I thought you might be dehydrated? What was I saying? Celeste snorted out a laugh. I felt silly, but something about seeing her laugh left me flustered. Tyrion? Is everything really going to be okay? It will be. I'll get you that acquittal no matter what. Man, king, or god? Yes. Man, king, or god. She giggled to herself. Anyways, you should rest. The trial is going to resume soon. I learned as much as I could about what happened, but I had assumed that Steelwind had done the same. We knew what the prosecution had in store for us. I just had to hope that I'd stacked the board in my favor. Has Pierce given you all the details, Rudolph? Will you remember them? Yes, my notes are pristine, and I pride myself in my... Idiot... What the fuck is that word? What? The fuck? Editic, I guess. Or edict. I don't know, memory. Just so there's no misunderstandings, I do not approve of this. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwind. The evidence proves that I couldn't have met a Flintheart, which leaves the bastard child as the only suspect. We don't know what sort of tricks Time War's stooge may pull tomorrow. Just see this as a way of securing a just verdict. There will be no need for your father to intervene. And we will finish this trial and prove this man, this motherfucker, Garrick Pierce, guilty of murder, because we know that we saw him do it. Next time. Bye-bye!